Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Check this out. Beautiful day here on a beautiful Monday. 3 p.m. QuaranStream Vibes just hangs here with the boys. Guys,
That's
how
beautiful.
are
That's a
we?
great view, Petey.
Yeah, really nice.
Yeah, blue skies. We haven't seen that for a while. Been a lot of grey lately. Today's been a good. It's not too hot either. It's a good sort of warmish, but there's a nice breeze on my end. So loving it, loving it, loving it.
Yeah,
Did you guys get some good sleep after
definitely
big
nice
weekend?
weather today. Well, I partied last night and passed out, and I can't remember what time I passed out. But yeah, I've been pretty dusty all day today, actually.
You're on the drinks, getting heavy on boozy. You're on the boozied up, mate.
Starting the
Getting heavy on
party
boozy.
early.
Yeah, that's it.
Starting the party early. Well, the party never stops.
Not today,
we may
though.
stop,
Not
but
today.
the party itself never stops. Man, we're still waiting.
The
for you
party
to
is
finish Squid
perpetual.
Game so we can talk about it.
I actually just started watching episode. I finished episode 4, so I think I'm on episode 5. After I might watch some more after our QuaranStream so that we can chat about it.
Yes.
Okay, so when you finish it, we'll chat about it. We won't chat about it now because I want you to not have any spoilers, and then we can talk about, what we think of it and possible season
Everything.
2 sort of things because it's
I'm
on my
loving it
newsfeed
so
all
far.
over.
That's for sure.
So, yeah. Another interesting, I was toggling through all the different languages, as in the audio. So obviously the most fitting one is the Korean. The English is the most funny, but the Vietnamese is really, really funny as well.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a way to, especially for the lady, the sort of weird mental lady.
Oh yeah.
The one that slept with old mate in the toilets. She's supposed to be quite kooky sounding, but the person who they used for the Vietnamese dub, it's not kooky enough. So, and because you know how she makes sounds like what, you don't want me to play with you? How about you guys? And all those sounds in Vietnamese is hilarious. I'm watching. I'm like, oh my goodness. But we have a hater. Squid Games was garbage.
What?
Who said that?
No.
Oh no.
That's because Jay will probably lose at the first game.
Jay, come on.
Green light.
Squid Games. Was
Jay,
garbage.
if you're listening, you gotta justify yourself. You gotta explain why. You can't just have an opinion like that, throw it into the mix without even
Yeah,
justifying.
please elaborate.
details, please.
Elaborate why it's garbage. We'd like to
And
know.
you got to watch all 9 episodes too. Then you have an opinion.
Yes.
I mean, the first 2 episodes was quite slow because it was all character introductions. But after that, it picks up a lot.
I still enjoyed it. I didn't mind the character intro at all.
Well, he's saying
Ooh,
watch
the
Prison
tournament,
Break.
okay.
Of course,
Haven't,
Prison Break is a classic. But the thing is, Jay, we're talking about recent. You can always bring up classics to compare to recent, but we're talking about now, recent. This is the hottest thing at the moment. You can't bring Prison Break in now.
I'm interested in checking out this tournament one though that Jay suggested. So I don't know. Maybe I'll set that as my my follow up to once I finish. Once I finish, maybe I'll check out the tournament.
That Alice in Borderland and also Battle Royale are similar sort of series with games you play and there's death involved. WisePass, where did the party never stops come from? I haven't actually told a lot of people, but I did vlog about it. So the party never stops came from basically I have a friend back in Australia, Melbourne. His name's Christos, and he used to live here, or not really live here. He used to come here and stay for 3 months at a time, and he'd probably do it two times through the year. So basically half a year he would live in Vietnam, and because he can work remotely, he was always. When he came here, it was always just going around, traveling, eating, partying, whatever the case was. And he was the one that one time when we were out, we went to a festival and then we came back to this after party and I was a little bit tired. I said, look, I'm just going to get something to eat. I'm going to chill for a bit. And he goes, come on, man, drink some more. We're doing shots. And I'm like, oh, come on, man. Like, it's only 8 o'clock, because we left early. We came back to this after party and he kept going, come on, man, party never stops. Party never stops. He kept saying it. And then I hadn't seen him for a while. And then we caught up again in Tomorrowland 2019. and that saying kept going. And because you do 3 days of festivals, you can't really take a break. It's like, yo, we're going to keep going. Party never stops. Party never stops. But then it evolved into not just partying, but anything that you do. Like, oh, I'm going to give up on this now. I said, no, man, the party never stops. You just keep going no matter what it is.
Yes.
And then eventually I started hashtagging it in all my
That's a good phrase, I
stories,
like it.
and it caught on. Some people went to parties and they'll say, hey, thinking about you, PD, hashtag party never stops. And then from that point, I went and bought the domain, partyneverstops.com. But it was
Nice.
taken. It was taken, and there was no site to it. Like, it was just parked through GoDaddy. So I reached out to GoDaddy and said, hey, how can I buy this? And they said, well, at this point in time, we can, because their account was with GoDaddy, we can reach out to the original owner and ask if you can pitch a price and buy it off them. Because there was nothing done to it, I said, what's a good price to start with? And they recommend about $250. Sometimes it can get more, obviously, depending on what it is. So I put it in $250, and the guy came back and says, yep, sold. So I bought it for $250. I've got the partyneverstops.com, and now it's valued at 1,000 something because it's a .com, and the word party and never and stop in its own separate is valued at different ways. So since then, I just started rebranding everything. Did the YouTube as Party Never Stops, finish up with Party Never Stops. And then we had an episode on the Friday night show, and Paddy decided to play all songs that had Party Never Stops in it, but he couldn't find anything that had Party Never Stops. He found Party Never Ends, Party Don't Stop, Party All the Time. But
Yeah.
so that's basically the story.
But party never stops.
So got to figure out what I want to do with the site. I think at one stage we were talking on a business platform. It could be a hub to sell tickets to events, all sorts of events. It doesn't have to be festivals and anything. So, hey, where can I get tickets to the show? Go to partyneverstops.com or something like that. You know, that
Yeah.
Not a bad idea, actually. I like that.
would go with it. But yeah, that's it. Christos
Nice
is
one.
a legend, and he will be back here soon. He's still in Melbourne. He's in lockdown. He's pretty much semi-retired. So,
That's awesome.
guys,
Fantastic.
I like that.
I'm looking forward to meeting Christos and partying and never
yes.
stopping.
you may have met him before. I reckon you would have met him before. Like Pat, you would have met him before too. He used to come during one of his favorite clubs was Envy. He used to be at Envy all the time.
Yeah, I met him
So-
before.
Oh, I like your singlet actually, Pat. That's cool.
so?
What's the brand? What do they do? Seafood what?
Restaurant. One of our buddies' restaurant.
Ah, that's cool. Did you
Seafood
cut the
and
sleeves
grill.
off yourself, or did it come like that?
No, we got this as a shirt when we went to one of their parties. It was one of their giveaways. If you want to have a look at the back, it's pretty cool too. Actually, it's got a graphic.
Oh yeah,
So yeah, and then I got
that's
two
a cool
of
shirt,
them.
actually. I'm a fan.
Yeah, kept one as a shirt and kept one as a cutoff for b-ball. Shout out to Vin, who's back in LA right now. Actually, he flew back to LA. So
I have one as well. They're great. They're always like, it's good when you get like door gifts at events when it's like things that you can use, like a shirt or something like that. We had one that was
actually
Mum
useful
at one
things.
stage. It's good. So, gentlemen, latest COVID updates. What do we got? Freedom, bit of freedom. We're spelling out
What
freedom
coming. Apparently,
Yeah, what are you guys
all the barriers and everything are supposed to be getting lifted inside the city on the 30th. So
Okay.
only a couple more days to go. I believe there's still going to be restrictions on like entering and exiting Ho Chi Minh City as a whole, but only at the borders, as opposed to like in intra, like in between districts is okay. But apparently still some checkpoints and stuff. So, but I haven't heard of anything along the lines of like whether you need to be double vaxxed or tested or anything like that to be able to move around. That wasn't in the news.
Well, I'm glad you asked, because here it says 3 districts after 10 days of new normal. It shows here that between District 7, Kuching, Ganyo, District 7 control, this lady here on the 26th of September was able to go to the supermarket, and they went the general measures. She got temperature checked and everything, and presented a certificate of at least one vaccine injection. So she was able to just freely go to the supermarket like she used to. And I think this will just spread through to the rest of the districts as we move along as well.
I'm really looking forward to this.
But another good thing here, if you look at the preliminary report on 7 days implementation of COVID-19 prevention, easing some activities on this day, District 7. So some of these people are allowed to do as far as exercise at 2 parks, 5 tennis courts. These are for double vaccination people, and obviously still adhere to the minimum density of distance of 10 square meters per person. So I guess tennis is okay for singles matches, right? You can't do any volley shots close to each other because then it's too close.
And you won't be playing basketball yet by the look of it either. No team sports, I guess.
Yeah, maybe just shoot around by yourself at this stage.
We play like
around the world at
Around
most.
Dodgeball would be pretty good.
Yeah. Patisse.
Yeah, just to follow up on that comment, Petey, this is one of the articles that I just saw. Ho Chi Minh City is going to elaborate traffic regulation after ending the lockdown, which is October 1st. So they're going to be splitting it into 3 categories. This will be new normal, risky, and blockaded areas. So that means that, on the blockaded areas, only official vehicles under the use for COVID-19 prevention, delivery of food, essential products will be allowed to stop in those areas for the blockaded ones. In any risky areas, taxis, delivery vehicles, trucks carrying all types of goods, business support vehicles, basically essentials is allowed to stop. And in the new normal areas, all those that have basically controlled the COVID-19 outbreak, buses, which is a good sign if buses are opening. Passenger cars will now be allowed to resume operation, which is a really, really good step moving forward. If public buses can open, if Grab cars can start operating, that's means huge. That's a very big step for the city, for us moving forward. And they're still going to be using the QR codes.
I wonder if private people will be able to ride scooters, i.e. us. If we're in a like a green zone, I guess, whether we can sort of ride around without those passes. But I guess if they're taking down all the barriers, then who's going to be checking?
Yeah, exactly. I think the check is just going to come very randomly. You're just going to be riding, and then if there's a checkpoint, there's a checkpoint. If there's not, there's not. And if you get this, if the police or the security, whoever's there, decide to stop you and check you for your QR code, then be prepared for it. If you're going to risk going out with that one, then obviously
fines are still in place, I believe. So
okay, that's going to be risky, but I think I might have to just take that risk. I'm also a little curious about whether I'll be able to show my Australian vaccine records and whether that would be accepted. And I guess that's going to come down to the officer at the time and whether they're interested in.
I would probably just carry it.
Of course.
I mean, Pat knows a couple of doctors here. Maybe you can see if you can get some sort of a equivalent conversion,
like a transcript in a sense.
Yeah, that might be.
It's not a bad idea.
So when they look at it, they say, okay, that's an approved one in Australia, and we can recognize that here in Vietnam, but we need to, I guess, have it in our,
system,
the form that we use.
Yeah. So there is that website where you can register for or make queries about I think it's like a blue and red and purple app, and so Sarko something. I'm not sure. It's like a funny name.
You probably don't want to say
Sequoia.
So anyway, so I did submit my Australian documentation on that, and so hopefully they'll contact me and be like, yeah, no worries, here's your green thing. But I'm also not holding my breath. No, I don't have the app, so I had to submit the stuff on the website.
Yeah,
that's like I'll upload the document and stuff.
Download the app, put in your number, same passport number, and then like that's how they updated mine. I just got the yellow vaccine for number 1. My first vaccine
Yellow
showed
baby.
up, and I went online
Yeah, right.
and like submitted the form, and that they fixed
So
it.
I think, like, for me though, the tricky thing will be not like downloading the app, but the fact that like my records are actually like it was done in Australia and it's like an Australian government document, whereas you
Yeah.
actually have it done here, so it's like it's already in Vietnam. It's already like, this is like a standard thing, and it just didn't connect for you. Whereas I think like it might be a little more challenging for me. But anyway, let's not focus on that. I'll let you guys know how I go with it.
I saw
Yeah,
that in Kansas, I think in October they might be opening up public schools. So, Lower Ho Chi Minh City might be.
So kids are going to go back to school.
Yeah, I think October 1st, or they're going to see. But yeah, it should be a good sign.
Well, that's good for them because they, I think the parents are a little bit overwhelmed having them home too often too, because they need them out of their hands, so they could do their own thing too, I guess. I mean, I read an article not long ago where, it's tough. It's funny how like, you want your kids to be at home and protect and stuff, but it's like it's tough having them home all the time. Was a thing that one of the parents was saying as well.
It's got to be difficult.
Get out of my hair.
I see some of these apartments with like 4 kids in it, and I hear them running and screaming all the time, and I'm like, God, if we were locked down with 4 little kids, babies running around, ooh, be stressful.
Well, COVID overseas seems to be. I mean, Singapore is a perfect example of being really ahead of the game. Let me try and share this with you guys. They are pretty much almost 100% vaccinated as a country, and what they had in the last couple of weeks, and even my friend who lives there said that they had a spike of anywhere between 200 to almost 1,000 cases just come through.
Really?
But, yeah, and people admitted to hospital, but because of vaccinations, they were all just very mild symptoms. So it's a case of people getting these symptoms. They do like a self-test or whatever, and they're like, oh shit, I'm positive for COVID. I should probably go into the hospital. But then after more tests, see, it says here 98% had no symptoms or only mild symptoms. So
how good is that?
It's obviously a clear indication of that herd immunity and vaccination, fully vaccinated, to work. And now they have to just get used to the fact that if you get it, it's just kind of like, oh, it's just the flu. I'll just, I'll sit out for 3 days and I'll come back to work again, just like how we treat the flu as normal. So they're starting to treat COVID like as if it's like a, the flu, like a normal thing now, which is great. Right, and moving along. So they're already allowing flights to come through, which is good. Korea, on the other hand, I found are only about 48% vaccinated, but they are still quite high. See, they had
very high in Korea right now.
2,383 more COVID cases within that 300,000 total. So
it's pretty similar to Vietnam's numbers. That total.
That's true. Maybe they're playing Squid Game, and that's what's happening.
a little too much Squid Game, yeah.
A little bit too much Squid Game with each other.
Yeah.
But they did have. See, 27 cases were imported from overseas. So obviously, it's coming from somewhere, not so much as local transmission, but from overseas, and that's the problem as well. Like, how soon do you know when you can start allowing, overseas, and because everyone's going to be coming in with different variants. Vaccinated, both jabs coming in, but possibly carrying a load, different variant that could be different already in South Korea, and then obviously that would go on to someone else, and then on to someone else. So
on that, in Australia, I know that they're talking about like reopening flights or like restarting flights towards the end of the year. And the goal is to have sort of like, I think it was like 80 to 90% people fully vaccinated in Australia, and then that'll basically make it safe enough to allow people to travel in. And I guess it makes sense because like at that sort of vaccination level, like it won't spread anywhere near as much. And I think actually I was reading an update on the transmissibility of the Delta variant here in Vietnam, and it's gone down from like 5.1 to like 1.05. So each infected person is only potentially infecting one more person versus 5 more people, which is the thing that makes the numbers explode so quickly. So it's fantastic that that transmissibility R number is like so down locally.
That's awesome. Fantastic indeed.
Just going back to what you were saying about South Korea. I just read as well in one of the articles that even though they're open, a lot of the local businesses is suffering, like restaurants and the locally owned businesses. And currently in South Korea, there has been 1 or 2 people committing suicide every day because of the tragedy that they're going through.
Yeah,
it's horrible.
That's horrible.
What about the suicide rate here? Do they tally that? Does anyone know?
No, that doesn't really get shown.
Is suicide a high concern here in Vietnam? I don't hear a lot about it though.
I haven't
heard much about it.
So, but I don't know.
I can't say because I don't know, but from my own observations, I don't feel that in Vietnam that if you were struggling down to the core, I kind of feel you still kind of are okay in a sense.
I get that impression as well. Although I was reading something a while ago that like the mental health is not really like a big thing here, and in many cases, like people struggling with mental health, it can be like stigmatized in the community. So people often sort of don't speak about it and don't seek help. And in fact, there's I think there's barely any sort of mental health services available. Hopefully that's changing, but from what I've seen, it's very, very difficult to find that sort of stuff here.
Yes, indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, if you just joined us, QuaranStream Vibes just hangs. Beautiful Manic Monday here with the boys. Don't go away. We'll be right back after these short messages. Yo. WisePass, part of them. This whole series, you can download it yet. WisePass is like everywhere. Download it on iOS and Android to check out the deals I have because we are opening up soon and hopefully can get to use some of these specials. You know what's good though? I saw this, and this is going to be really, really good for business owners here. Is that they are considering or going to reduce site fees for F&B industries to restart. So the cost of renting space to the next 2 quarters could be reduced to 10 to 50% in food industries because obviously, the pandemic has killed a lot of businesses that they've had to shut down because they can't continue paying the rent. But for them to restart again with this upcoming opening, it's going to be a really good addition to, I guess, a good aid to help them get back on their feet.
That's so good.
So
Definitely.
for us, I think what we can do to help in this regard is to help plugging all these places that reopen as well, boys. So if we find some of our favorite restaurants and stuff, let's reach out to them and see if we can get them a little spot on the show and plug them out there.
Get some support.
Some support, baby. Some support.
Help the people.
But yeah, nice hat. Winner, Lewis Hamilton. Hat.
Winner, chicken dinner.
Winner, chicken dinner. Did you watch the whole thing?
Yeah, pretty much. Really good. Exciting. F1's not as exciting as it used to be, though.
Why not?
Well, the cars have changed. They're not as loud as they were before. Obviously,
Are they hybrid?
technology gets better.
Yeah,
Oh,
they are
imagine
hybrid.
that. So, like, you know what I mean? It has to evolve in a way. We can't stay, for example, just like how it was mechanically 10 years ago, even though that was more exciting. But yeah,
Yeah,
no, it's
definitely
now
agree with you. It's the sound. The sound is a huge difference. Previously, back in the day, we used to have like V10 motors in the cars, and they would just absolutely howl. So they sounded incredible, very very loud. And then these days, I think they're using. Paddy, do you know? Are they V6? They're definitely hybrids because they've got the curve system.
Yeah.
The electronic
Correct.
boosters. Are they V6s now? Are they
I think so.
V6
Yeah,
hybrid?
from what I know, they're V6 hybrids.
V6.
Yeah.
Like
and of course, they're still insanely fast and everything, but just a different different sound.
Correct. It's a very different sound compared to how it was back then. Like don't get me wrong, it's still super loud, but it's more it sounds more electronic-y right now. Right? I think right now the 1.6 liter V6 turbos, hybrids.
And then also with the hybrid system, yeah. Speaking of motorsport, can I change the subject and get some advice from my homies? I'm thinking about I've got a scooter here in Vietnam, and I love the thing, and I love riding it around. But I'm actually thinking about purchasing a fun bike or a bigger bike. Yeah,
fun bike like what the clowns ride.
The clown? No, not that kind of bike.
You know, clowns ride like these.
What CC are you looking at, Matty?
Actually, so this is my question. I'm actually very open to like all different things, and I've been looking at things like actually a Honda, like a silver Honda Wind just came up with like a leather seat. It's kind of like a cafe racer type thing. I think that's only like 125cc or something along those lines. But then I also looked at a Honda, like a dirt bike, a Honda CRF 150L. That's significantly more expensive. And then, I'm interested in anything even up to like Kawasaki Z1000, which is what I've got in Australia, and I love the thing. And it's stupidly fast and beautiful and reliable and all of those things, but also like 200 million dong versus the Cafe Racer one, which I saw today, and the lady's only selling it for 6.5. But question is, what do you reckon would suit me? What style would suit me? What do you guys think? Other than the clown bike, Petey.
I mean, you don't need to go too big. I had a 390 like 2 years ago. Like I had a KTM, the 390, and I think that was already too much for the city.
Right.
If you're riding around, especially in traffic, it just heats up, and you're sitting there, and it's too big, and plus your situation with the police as well is the biggest one. Even if you have a license, you still get pulled over, which I got done pretty much every second or third day that I was riding.
Seriously, wow.
I think because it's just a big bike. Even if you have the right license for it, you'll still get pulled over. They'll still ask you for money no matter what. And it's not just us; it's the locals as well. Even the locals with the big bikes, they get pulled over. It's still frowned upon for some reason. PD recently just got a Cafe Racer, which is nice. I think, in my opinion, the Cafe Racer would look super cool on you.
That's beautiful, PD. What is that? That's a Honda Win as well, right?
I bought it off my neighbor because he went back to America and he had 2 bikes he wanted to sell, and I wasn't planning to buy a bike, and I just kept seeing people come and check out this other bike that he was selling, and this one was sitting there, and I said to him, I mean, I'll buy it off you. I mean, how much you want for it? And at the time, he had it listed for something like 11 mil, and then he had someone talking to him down to like 8 mil, between 6 and 8 mil, and I said to him, look, I'll buy it off you for 6. Yeah. And then he goes, no, you've been a good neighbor. And then he goes, I'll give it to you for 4. And I went, really? And he goes, yeah, man, like, because we've always sort of hung out and stuff like that. And then I said, all right, look, I'll meet you in the middle. I'll give you 5 for it. And he goes, nah, because you did that, I really like you. You can have it for 4. Just take care of it. Yeah, I got it for 4.
I think you guys are doing this negotiation thing wrong.
Yeah. I would have bought it for 6, definitely. I would have bought it for 7.
That's really nice, Petey. I like it a lot.
Because
Yeah.
I mean, like Pat gave me some tips on what to do with it. You know, maybe change the black leather seat out to a brown one. He put new tires on it. I'll probably repolish these up a little bit, raise the handle up a bit, put a speedo on it. There's no speedo on it at the moment,
Okay.
and the clutch is a little bit
How
loose. So
fast
just a
you're
little bit
going.
of a service, and we should be
Mm.
good.
Yeah. It's definitely
Yeah, that
good
looks
value
fantastic.
for Hill.
The one that I'm looking at is very similar to that, except it's silver and then a brown leather seat. So, but very similar. Like I think it might even be the same bike.
There's a
Very
place here in Taodin that sells a lot of those style cafe races bikes, and they sell it for quite cheap too, Matty. I'll send you a link just in case you haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, if you guys see any good deals on your travels, I'm pretty open to like various different types of bikes, including like even including dirt bikes or cafe races or anything like that. But yeah, I would like to get something that's like fun, like more fun than a scooter.
Yeah.
Because I've been riding for a long
Yeah.
time, and I've got like a fun bike in Australia and all of that, and I really enjoy it. So I'd love to get something like a little toy.
Hell yeah.
I mean, for me personally, like I never owned any bikes in Oz, but I rode some of my friends, CBRs and stuff like that. And although it's the power in it is amazing, like I think the biggest I rode was a 600, but I can't see myself just in that racer ride position for too long.
No,
my
they're
back-
uncomfortable. Okay, so that's one thing I would be
Yeah.
not interested in is like a super sport style bike in Vietnam. Like
Yeah.
that would just be silly.
There's nowhere to ride it really, huh?
There's a lot of potholes.
So something
and
more of a
ninja
cruiser,
leads.
you can, that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dangerous on those streets with the big
I still
bike.
have my Wave, my first ever bike that I bought here in 2011. I still have it. Apparently, there's a small group in Vietnam that does up waves. So if you have a wave, they deck it all out. So they do like a little wave crew, and they just go through. Look real mad.
That's
My wave
that's
is
super
naked.
cool.
Yeah.
That's what I've got.
Yeah.
I've actually got my first bike in Vietnam, which is also a Honda Wave. So that's what I've got
Yeah.
currently.
The wave riders.
Nice. Yeah, I still have it. I might want to maybe fix it all up again or something.
Here,
Something
check out the thing I was just about to put up. Share. So this is it here. Can you guys see it?
Ooh, that's cool. That's a
Yeah,
125.
So I believe so. I mean, she says it's a Honda Win, but I'm trying to figure out if it's like a copy mechanically. So I know in Vietnam they make a D-Tech
Damn.
Win, which is like a copy of a Honda Win. But I don't know.
I'm
If
jealous
it's,
of those handlebars. I want my handlebars higher.
That's it.
yeah,
That's
it's
cool.
probably going to be a little more comfortable. But yeah, I haven't actually gone to see it yet or anything like that.
6.5. That's pretty nice for 6.5.
Right, exactly.
Patty's gonna. Let's get one. Let's all get one.
Cheap. Is that in Taodin?
It is, yes.
Oh, okay. I think I've seen that one for sale before. It's because I saw it as soon as I saw it, and it's got the saddlebags, right?
Yeah. So a lady
Yeah,
owns
yeah.
it, and I think I'd like to go and check it out, but I obviously might have to wait a couple of days for that.
Yeah, I've seen that one. That's actually pretty nice.
You ride a manual, Sean?
Yeah, just a Honda or Yamaha, just a Nuva, typical foreigner bike. Before I used to have a dirt bike here at 250cc, and
Damn.
it had like a Moto X fucking tailpipe on it. Oh man, and this thing would just rip and roar. It was just like a monster on the street, but it was
Get
scary.
a lot of attention.
Yeah.
Did you get pulled over a lot, Sean?
Yeah, a couple times actually, and it was just like.
Were you
it was
being a
so
dickhead
fun to drive.
or no?
I had to pay him off. I thought about running a couple times, but I was like, I'll just pay or else I might lose it all.
No.
That's it.
But,
He wasn't being a dickhead. That's
yeah. But when you crank that thing up, it's so fun. But the streets here are just like, I don't know. The drivers, I'm always worried about the fucking potholes and like these.
Yeah.
You never know, and that ninja lead's going to make a left from the far right lane. So
That's it. You gotta be real careful. You gotta be paying attention 100% of the time.
yeah,
I want to put a GoPro on my bike and specifically ride only to T intersections where people come out and turn right because they don't shoulder check.
No,
Have you noticed
No.
that?
not even
Yeah.
once.
There's no blind checks.
they
So
just
no
go.
blind
many
checks.
times. They just come out. They just come out. No one looks. And the amount of footage I will have on that would be endless on this freaking memory card. Like it is, I swear to
It's-
God.
yeah.
Like if it
It's
wasn't
long.
like, because trucks don't drive on that inside lane unless they're going to be turning left. But imagine if it was a bigger car on that side and they're, I guess, going the speed limit, if not even a little bit slower, and this bike just comes out of the alleyway or even just a T junction and not look. I don't know how they get the license, but I think I don't think people are taught to shoulder check at all.
No,
I'm pretty
not at
sure
all.
no one is taught to shoulder check.
You know,
here.
you know what I love as well is like when they're turning left, they come from the very far right,
Oh,
and then they'll
Yeah,
they'll just go like they don't prepare and go to the left side to turn left, or if they're going to turn right, they go from the very far left. I'm like, don't you prepare? I love the ones also they just stop in the middle of the road because they got a phone call, or they just feel like stopping. Those are the best ones.
So the
like
scenario that you were describing, Petey, where they just turn, like people come out and just like don't check anything, like oncoming traffic. I actually had an accident like that. My first trip in Vietnam, which was with my girlfriend at the time. We had like two big bags on the back of it, and we weren't going fast or anything. I think only like, I don't know, 50 in town or whatever. And this lady comes out and we just cleaned her up. And
Wow.
she came off the bike and lost some skin and stuff. But and I went back to like make sure she was okay and everything. But yeah, this is like a regional town, like Pleiku or something like that, like in the middle of nowhere. And yeah, like the locals all started like gathering and stuff. And I think there was someone who spoke English, and they're like, "Oh, just leave some money and just leave. Like don't hang around until the police turn up." She was okay, so I think we left like a couple of million dong for her. Like, you know, even though it was completely her fault. But
Has anyone had any bad accidents? Like...
Yeah. Did she try and blame you?
I mean, I don't know. There was a lot of yelling in Vietnamese, and I didn't understand any of it at the time. So, yeah.
That's crazy. I've had a pretty serious accident too. I got 4 stitches from it.
Oh, yeah.
I see the line.
So this story is, it'll probably be, I mean, if I ever do like a little bio, like, you know, I guess a bio video movie thing, this story would be in it. So I just shot my first ever film, How to Fight in 6-inch Heels, which is available on Netflix, by the way, if you want to watch it. Just type in my name or How to Fight in 6-inch Heels, and it'll be on there. So this was like a Friday, right? And the movie premiere, red carpet event, was on Monday. But one of the big bros invited me to his house in Taoding to celebrate and have a drink. And at the time, I was living in BMT on Vavenkik, which is like quite close to Bui Ving. And I went and had a few drinks, and this was late at night. And I was like, I got to get back because my mum and JJ and my cousin are arriving Saturday morning to go to Vietnam and visit my grandmother. They came a bit early so they can come to the premiere on Monday as well to support me, right? So Friday night, about 2 a.m., I come home. So I'm on my wave, cruising through, dead, not busy at all, because back then, late at night, there was not many cars. Coming through on Le Thanh Ton, right past where the walking street is, the top of Walking Street, and I see a lady pushing her bicycle with, like a food cart at the back. She's just pushing it, and I see her. She's going very slow, so I speed up a bit to get past her. Just as I pass her, I feel a clip on the back of my wheel. Boom. And it flipped me over. I fall a good, 10 meters, scrape my chin, still got my helmet on. I turn around, she's down. I'm like, what the fuck? Because I'm like drunk as well, right? So don't ever ride, speed while you're drunk or drinking. Okay? This is a lesson for myself, big lesson for myself, for everybody. But because I was like, I guess the adrenaline, I just wasn't sure what was going on. I turned around and looked at her. I started feeling dripping here, full blood. As soon as I stood up to walk over, police were there because they were already in that area.
Yeah,
so
they were already there.
And I'm like, fuck. So they had their truck, put my bike onto the truck, and then they drove both of us over to this hospital across from Bentan, down a little bit from Bentan roundabout.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sitting there. I'm like, what the fuck? And this hospital was like Saigon Hospital. It's down a little bit from Fresco Cafe. You guys will know. It's a really old one.
Right
but
there.
it looked deserted. There was no one in there. A nurse gave me a form. I just filled it out and then told me to go into this room. Lights were off down this hallway. They just turned this light on. Sit here. A doctor comes in. He had like one of those big light things on his forehead, like wearing like a light thing, like a person in the mines. I'm like, what the fuck? And then I grabbed my phone. I called Sven and went, dude, I fucking had a bike accident. I'm at some weird hospital. Can you come and get me? Sven came and got me, and he rode me to FV in District 7. So this is 2013. 2013, right? So I go to FV, they stitch me up. Obviously, I had to pay cash there. Next day, I get a phone call from the police saying you need to come down to the station, and the water had to come down was District 4. So I went to District 4, and the lady was there as well, and then she showed me the bill. I gave to the police officer, and I had looked at her bill. Apparently, she had some things she had to fix on her arm. It didn't even look broken, but it was like 6 mil something. So I wasn't going to complain. I just paid for it, and then the officer was like, "Okay, so we need to talk about your accident. You were speeding. You were drunk."
They knew that.
Yeah. Well, they saw the whole thing. They were there as soon as I got up. Like cops were already there.
They okay.
And then I was like, "So what?" And she goes, "Do you have your bike papers? Because it's not on the bike." I said, "No, I don't bring that stuff with me." And then he just said to me, "You're that magician on TV, aren't you?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to you watching." He goes,
no!
"Yeah, my kids love your show." And I said, "What?" He's like, "What are you doing? What are you doing out at that time?" And I told him like, "Oh, I have a movie premiere," and one of the others was celebrating, and I went and celebrated with him. He says, "You know, you should be more responsible if you're someone in the public eye." And then I was sort of sitting with him. We had a little bit of a talk, and then I guess I won't say this on here, but it was sorted. I'll tell you guys after. It was sorted, and then I was still left with these scars. I go to pick up Mum on Saturday at the airport. She's like, "What the hell happened to you?" And I'm like, "I have this movie red carpet premiere on Monday. Scars aren't going to heal on Monday." I'll call my makeup artist, Tax. Said, "Dude, can you do anything about this?" Because, dude, I can put all this foundation on, but you're gonna look hideous. You know, he goes, "If I were you, I know it's the first film, I would maybe make up an excuse and not go to not have that image as you on the red carpet."
I think it'd be fantastic. You look like a bad boy, all scarred up. You're like, yeah, just own it.
Yeah, well, what happened was I was kind of fortunate, and I don't want to say it in a way in vain of this death, but on Sunday of that weekend, General Yap of Vietnam passed away, a very high-ranked general, and from that death, they postponed all entertainment or any form of celebration. So bars and clubs were closed for a whole week.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Luckily.
So our premiere was pushed to the week after. So I took Mum and JJ and everyone to Da Nang, and I healed in a week. So and then I was able to go to the premiere with it fine.
It's meant
Crazy.
to be. It's meant to be.
And since then, if I was riding and I drank, I left my bike there. So
good lesson to learn. That could have ended up much worse for both you and the lady.
Exactly. I still not sure why her arm costed more than my 4 stitches.
How much?
I mean, look, I don't know. I didn't actually go and check it or anything, but she was in a sling and stuff, and I was like, yeah, okay, I'm not going to bother. I'd only been in the country 2 years, so I didn't want to be, whatever's.
Yeah,
but
I think it's probably best to just suck it up and pay the money, bro.
That's it.
And thank you, lucky stars. That's all it cost you.
What about you lads? Any bad falls? Actually, Pat had a fall. You had a fall. No, you had a crash in a car, didn't you?
Oh yeah, I had a car crash. My car
flipped the car.
What?
What did you
You
flip
did
the
a
car?
half flip.
Yeah, I flipped my car because my car was pretty low as a typical Asian. I had a R32 GTR, and it was about Friday. Yeah, it was a Friday. Yeah, no, it was after Friday. We went out on Friday night. It's like 4 o'clock in the morning. Driving home with my ex-girlfriend, and went to turn a corner. Like it's not a corner. It's like more of a bend, and a dog, like a stray dog, goes in front. So imagine it's being dark, right? And you're turning like this. And I wasn't going too far. I wasn't going too fast either. Probably only like 30 Ks, 30 plus. And then I went to swerve and I missed the dog. But then my car hit a parked car, so it was under it. So my car went under the back of a parked car, and then it just went
What?
and flipped.
Holy cow!
Yeah, and it was right.
That's
It was
wild.
right next to my. It was right next to my ex-girlfriend's house.
So car was written off, obviously. If you rolled it,
Yeah,
it would have been.
Pretty much, yeah, because the whole roof was crushed,
Caved in, probably, yeah.
Luckily, insurance got all my money back, so it's all good.
That's good.
But imported cars from Japan is hard to get, so especially when it's one of those type of models. So yeah.
Yeah, so you
fun.
also got very lucky
Yeah.
that you were insured and that you were covered and everything.
Very lucky.
I don't know on that. I don't know if you guys have seen recently. I don't know if you guys have seen recently, but the prices of the Japanese imported cars have gone ballistic. So I think if you wanted to buy an R32 GTR now, it would probably cost you like 60,000. Even though I also had an R32 GTR. I remember I sold it for like 17 grand back like I don't know. I want to say like 6 or 7 years ago. And the prices have like just gone nuts. There's some R34 GTRs that are selling like not even special edition ones for like in the hundreds of thousands, like over 200 grand. So it's mental.
That's crazy. I've wrecked a car before.
What about you, Sean?
Actually, there's a night where I had been.
Of course,
drinking.
there's a night.
It was a night I'd been drinking, and to be honest, I had a girlfriend at the time, and I dropped her off because she was being a drunk biatch, and so I got rid of her. And this other girl hit me up and was like, I want to, like, let's hang out. And I was like, fuck yeah. So I was like, I'm going to be the bad guy. And I went and came back to my house, and I was pretty tired, and we had our fun. And then I was going to fall asleep, and she was like, no, I have to go home. And I was like, I really can't take you home. Like, pretty drunk, still tired. And she's like, I have to be home. So I take her home, and I'm turning onto Foothill Boulevard. So it's like a main street in Hayward. And I notice I'm falling asleep. So like I turned up my music, and I got like 212s in the back. So it's like bumping. And all of a sudden I and all of a sudden I'm driving, and then I fell asleep, and I take out like a giant light pole, go through that thing, end up on the other side of the street. I wake up, airbags are blown, windows shattered, the car won't start, and there's smoke everywhere. And I'm like, what the fuck happened? And I'm like, oh shit, like I crashed. I'm like, fuck. And then like I'm like, now I gotta get out of here, And I'm like, and it wasn't moving. I'm like trying to like push it out of the way, and it was just like, oh fuck. And all of a sudden the police show up, and like they're like, Jesus, you like the whole light post, I like went through it, ruined the whole car. And then the cops came, and luckily I didn't get in any trouble actually, but I just had to pay for the light post.
Wow, how much was the light post?
Like fucking 25, $3,000.
Sheesh.
Wow. Well, you own it then.
Yeah.
I own that light post.
Yeah, I went and like wrote my graffiti name on it, just so it's like just so I know that it's my light post,
That's crazy, man.
That's expensive.
Yeah, and luckily
everyone's gone through
the
story.
Get hurt. But they said earlier in the night some guy did something not as bad and broke his leg and his arm, and I was like, fine. I guess because my body was just like in sleep mode and like dead. So lucky.
Lessons learned, gentlemen. Lessons
Don't
learned.
drink and drive.
Don't drink and drive. Be stupid behind the wheel for anything. Ladies and gentlemen, if you just joined us, QuaranStream Vibes, just hang right back.
Take away our story now. We got to find a waste our story. It's our story now. Let's go.
Yo, QuaranStream Vibes just hangs here with the boys. Manic Monday. Patty, got something for you that you will be I don't know how you react to it, but look, China bans cryptocurrency trading.
Again, right?
It's like the 20th time. Trivia for you: who's the second biggest holder of Bitcoin?
China.
China.
I don't know. China.
China.
I mean,
They're
So
trying
when you
real
think
hard
about
to
it,
shut it
you know-
down. I think the motivation is because they're coming up with their own digital currency called the digital yuan, and I think
Correct.
normal crypto would be a challenger for that, or normal crypto would be, not good for the adoption of it. And of course, I mean, their government wants to control like absolutely everything, and so like one of the whole points of crypto is that like governments can't control it. That's one of the key benefits of crypto. So it's not surprising that they're trying to ban everything crypto related.
It's not the first
what
time.
it does say
That's-
here,
this is like the
crypto-related
20th
business
time,
activities
so.
are illegal financial activities.
Mhm.
Mm.
So
It's not the first time. That's why the
Yes.
price keeps dropping. But they make this FUD news, and they keep picking up more Bitcoin when all the the smaller guys are selling off in fear.
they're buying the dips. They're buying the dips, mate.
Well, they haven't actually affected the price too much. Bitcoin's only dropped like a couple of percent in the last 7 days. So not even 3%. So
What's your latest purchase, boys? You bought anything? In terms of coins?
vodka.
No, nothing. Nothing recently. Just some
I just
beer.
had I updated my wallet yesterday. Patty gave me a little insight, so we sold some of the really shitty shit that I didn't know that I bought, and we bought some better ones. Let's see.
What'd you pick up,
Let's
Petey?
see. What was it? Starting with a C. What was it?
Coti, COTI.
Coty. That's it. Coty.
Haven't heard of that one. Actually, I haven't bought any crypto for a long time.
Yeah, a bit of FTM, a bit of Phantom. A lot of layer 2 stuff, which is the more potential compared to the stuff that he had earlier on. So
Mm.
Far
Yeah,
out.
the
Sure.
bulk
What
of
the hell?
my stuff is Bitcoin, and then I actually got into Doge right back in like 2017. So that has become a bigger and bigger part of my portfolio as it's gone up. But certainly, it wasn't my intent to have a
How much
large.
did you buy it for?
Oh man, I don't know. It was like cheap as. It was really really cheap when I bought it. I can't remember how much it was though. Like cents. It was just like a few cents.
it would have been
I
less
got
than
it at
cents
4
if it was
cents.
that long ago. Yeah.
I got it just under 5 cents, and I bought it for the hell of buying it because everyone was like, "I'm like, okay, well, it's whatever, let's get it."
Pretty much.
Yeah,
Not a bad choice.
exciting times to come. Exciting times. Here's something interesting as well, though. Let's see if I can replay this. Put this to that. Let's mute that here. So it's basically green alternatives to burial and cremation. It says there that you're able to open the coffin up after 3 months and everything would have decomposed.
Look
I
at
like
that
this
beer.
visualization right now. Because obviously the guy's digging a hole in the ground at night time during a thunderstorm.
Takes up less space as well. So
So tell us the
Alright.
tell us the gist of it, Petey. How's it done? Like, is it through like natural decomposition using like a fungus or plants or what? Like, how does it?
Yeah,
What's
and
the
the casing
innovation?
as well. The casing as well. I think the Vietnamese. There's a few Vietnamese words that I'm not too sure, but apparently you get a more natural decomposition after 3 months, where you're probably just left with the bones, and then. I mean, from there, from there, you're not really putting the whole coffin down the ground, as so to speak. I think it's more.
Yeah,
More-
apparently that
it's
entire
basically
industry,
more-
that like burial is a very very like
Expensive.
expensive. It's not just expensive, but it's also like not environmentally friendly at all.
Yeah.
And expensive, as you say. So I think there are some innovations in the space, like different types of ways of dealing with the body, and obviously it's like a very very sensitive subject, and people have like very firm views on it. But it's an industry that's I think ripe for disruption and innovation. Apparently, I was reading just recently about a company that does like disposal of bodies using water instead of burning it or burying it, and apparently it's far more environmentally friendly versus having to burn the entire coffin or even use up like a lot of fuel or whatever for the fire, or let alone like burying an entire coffin, which is like far more damaging or disruptive to the
Yeah.
environment.
I mean, like, have you seen the coffins here? Like it's huge. It's massive.
Pretty elaborate, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's massive compared to what I've experienced back home. Like, back home, it's a little bit more, I guess, not too fancy detailed. It's pretty much just a box and a couple of trimmings. But this has all these extra bits and pieces to it, which is so.
But burials
I don't
are, I mean, like death ceremonies here in Vietnam are quite big. So
Yeah,
they have
we-
those.
we-
They have
go
those. I don't know if you. Yeah, they have those multiple day sort of like memorial for the person. So
Like a wake,
where they
like
have
a
a little bit.
multi-day wake.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they have a viewing, they have the wake, and then they have obviously the burial or however they're gonna go. Where in Australia you have a viewing and then you get buried. That's it.
Quick.
I remember, I'm not sure, but we, at some age, when we were filling in a form, we had to either tick if we wanted to be a donor or not. Do you remember doing something like that in Australia?
Yep.
I actually used to work in this field in Queensland Health. So I used to work for the state health department in Queensland, and one of the projects that I worked on was basically like end of life, like resuscitation or not, as well as organ donation. So they're all pretty linked because they all happen at the end of life, I guess. Yeah, so you can certainly get a card, like an organ donor card, and that you can download that from the Queensland Health website, and they actually like send you a physical card that says I'm registered to be an organ donor. You can keep that with you. So mine's in my wallet. And then there's also like something called an Advanced Health Directive, and that's also on the Queensland Health website. And then in that, it's basically like it asks you a number of questions, things like, do you want to be resuscitated? Do you want to be intubated? If you're in an accident and not able to make that decision at the time, you can like lay out your wishes for the future, which I think is a fantastic thing. Unfortunately, it's not very well publicized. Not many people know about it, but it definitely exists. So yeah, you can specify, like if I have an accident and I'm not able to breathe, do I want a tube shoved down my throat and like the machine to breathe for me? Do I want various other things like that? So you can specify all of that. So it's certainly something that's worth looking at. Unfortunately, I don't like it's not like a universal thing, and it's not even an Australia-wide thing. It's state by state because that's the health systems are organized in Australia, and so certainly it wouldn't apply in Vietnam either.
Nice. I'll have to look into that because I am in the category of the average half-life. So
In
you
America,
cooking something, Sean?
In America,
Yeah, so definitely look up
it's chicken
Organ
right?
Donation Australia and Advanced Health Directive. Look up those on just Google.
Yeah, for sure, definitely.
In America, they just like with your driver's license, they have a like a little checkbox. It's like if you get in an accident, do you want your organs donated? And then like
Mm.
you can just check it, and if you don't want it donated, it's like $25 extra fee. So
Wow.
I always would check it. I doubt my organs are any good for anyone, but I always check the free one.
Definitely not your liver, mate. Maybe just your heart.
Definitely not. They're gonna be like, oh fuck this.
Far out.
And I know a few people
Imagine having
who would lay claim to a couple of other organs you have, Sean.
Imagine having Sean's organs.
No good. Trying to fuck your body.
I remember one of the so just on that as well. I remember one of the major problems is that we don't have enough people donating organs in Australia, and so one of the things that we looked at doing, and it's not because people don't want to donate their organs necessarily. It's like a morbid thought that people don't necessarily like want to take time out of their day to think about. So death is generally one of those things, and so one of the proposals was, by default, currently you are not an organ donor unless you say otherwise. And one of the proposals that we considered is, should we make it the other way around? It should be, you are an organ donor by default unless you say otherwise. And I was kind of all for that, but there's a lot of like religious considerations and like people have very strong opinions on this sort of subject. But that's certainly something that would solve that problem like quite effectively, I think.
Sean, do you have a will? Like in America, a will is a huge thing, yeah?
Yeah, no, definitely you can get your will set up and made for in case you pass away, and whatever your belongings and money who it goes to. I don't have one yet, but like I think it wouldn't be a bad thing to have. I don't know when I'll die, but
I'll leave all my shit for the QuaranStream vibes, boys.
Given our lifestyle and your propensity to drive drunk on a motorbike, it's probably not a bad idea to set one up, hey?
That's true. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to wrap up today's episode with some Vietnamese knitting art on the Milan catwalk, guys. Let's have a look at these before we wrap up. Amazing. Look at
That's
that.
cool. I like that. I really like that.
This was during Milan Fashion Week, September 25th, so a couple of days ago. Some really good numbers here, like getting very fusion modernizing.
Is that a Vietnamese designer?
Yeah.
whoa.
That one's
He
intense.
uses environmentally friendly materials in the spirit of sustainable fashion that's becoming the world's trend. That stuff like this is practical, I think, to wear. I mean, if you're dressed up too much with flowery stuff and hanging bits and stuff, like
You get stuck on everything.
that's more for events.
Or birds land on you?
True.
These are nice.
Yeah,
I'm
that you
actually
could wear,
really
yeah.
really liking these outfits.
You can wear that.
A little bit of an Aoya inspiration sort of fusion there.
Yeah.
There he is, of course.
Nice.
That's the look, hey, like not the full tuck shirt in, but like just a little bit at the front and kind of like
Yeah.
just leave the
Yeah.
rest around the sides.
He's definitely
Loose
cooler than
baggy
us.
pants.
So whatever he's doing,
What was that?
Speak for yourself. Speak for yourself.
There he is.
Nice.
Very, very cool.
Mm.
Look at that, masks everywhere, guys. It's happening. That's the new world. That is the new world.
Awesome.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, QuaranStream Bar just hangs. Manic Monday done. Thanks for joining us this afternoon. We'll see you again tomorrow, boys. A pleasure. See you backstage.